Welcome to Woke Mental Wellness Presents Windy City Nihilism. This is a debrief episode. While some cast members are mental health professionals, nothing in this episode or series should be construed or taken as medical advice. We speak to our lived experiences. If you have concerns, please contact someone in your care community and/or seek out an appropriate professional. No podcast can or should be used as a substitute for a relationship with a doctor, therapist, or other trained professional. Please also be aware that Talkback episodes cover a wide range of topics which may be hard for some listeners. Topics include, but are not limited to, suicide, death, depression, anti-Blackness, racism, sexism, transphobia, police, state-sanctioned murder, complicated relationships, sex and sexuality, hopelessness, financial anxiety, and strong language. Please take care of yourself as you listen, and remember, hope and resistance do best in community. Welcome back, everybody. This is our Talkback episode for the last 2 episodes, wherein our crew has not broken the seal that they found, the mirror, and then are starting to deal with the fallout from that battle. So welcome in, everybody. If you want to go ahead and quick go around, let everyone know your name, who you play, and then let's talk about these, because there was actually a lot of emotions.
Yeah, let's go for it. Hi, I'm Blue. I'm known on the internet streets as King V _ and that's King with a Y. And you can catch me anywhere Baddie Bards is. I had the pleasure of playing Alexis and Ruin, who both use any pronouns. And I think Alexis is just like, what the hell is going on? A little lost, I think, and just worried. And Ruin is maybe scared. I think Ruin is scared.
Fair.
I'll go next. Hi, I am Sin with the he and they pronoun, and in this recent set of episodes, I have been Romero Marcus, who crashes out a whole lot, but those crash outs look a lot like blue screens. That's what we have learned. Oh, we'll talk about that a little bit more today.
Oh, Lord. Hi, everyone. My name is Emrys. I play Miss Janessa Wallace, who is also spiraling mentally right now. Yeah. Ooh.
Yeah. Hi, everyone. I'm Cassie. I'm your storyteller and responsible for all of this anxiety. You could also find me as Lamia or Mental Labia, and my pronouns are they, them. So, yeah. What did y'all think of your first seal? I'm going to tell you, you went into the hardest seal first.
Love that for us.
Did not know that. Just our luck to go into the hardest one first, though. Like,
right?
Mm-hmm.
You really stumbled on that one, so understandable.
And we still didn't even take care of it.
A lot of yikes here. Well, I mean, y'all saw what was happening there. Well, for those of y'all who didn't remember this from the last Talkback, it's a mirror demon. So, not to be too on the nose about it, but of course that was going to require some internal reflection. Then Romero was just like, well, what if I punch it in the face? As like a kind of like a whole shutdown thing, right? I think there's definitely some stuff that'll need to be talked out, or like, that was a moment where I think Romero truly considered, you know what, the whole city could go up in flames. It's fine. I'm not even trying to argue with these people. They can have it.
It's like, oh, this is the one where we confront our inner thing, that stuff that Janessa has been fighting desperately to keep a lid on since we ran into Ola at the Jamaica spot, the day before. We're not ready to do that. We're not ready to handle that. That's not something that we are ready to address. So
mechanically, it is the thing that I have the most according to the mechanics of the game. it is the place that I have the most severe set of disadvantages in most of the encounters.
Yeah. Because the mirror demon is essentially the manifestation of Romero's catatonic shock. So Romero's shut down. Mm-hmm. And so its whole thing is just overwhelm. Internal, external, just overwhelm to the point of shutdown. And so, yeah, that's a rough one to go after first.
Although I feel like when it comes to confronting this thing, depending on how the rest of the game goes and the character interactions, there's going to have to be a part where Romero has to decide if he's going to try to actually deal with that with the help of friends or not.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The power of friendship, y'all.
Well, I mean, it's kind of the power of friendship, but it's also like, I can tell you that Romero about that situation, probably given a couple of days time and some sleep, will probably be fine. For Romero, again, a situation a little bit too familiar where he's just like, I'm trying to do a thing that's helpful and get people out of harm's way. And the response at the time where things are like really critical and it is like taking all of the faculties that they have to get their friends out of danger is like, I need y'all to leave. And no one's leaving. He's just like, not this. Like, right? Mind you, most of like two out of the three traumas that he has are around not being able to speak to people in a direct way and interposing himself if people are in danger. So like between all of that, it's just kind of like the adrenaline of trying to just get out of the situation is wearing off. And then there is a moment that there's just nothing here except whatever is in the bank for autopilot. Taking a shower, going to work, having to put the mask on and say things to people so that they don't ask too many questions, and making sure that he does just enough not to draw attention to himself. And that's going to be really rough when Alexis is like, so how did we feel about the other day? And it's either going to be fine, or how do you really feel though? And Romero being like, because like those interactions, those traumas that he has aren't just things that he has to deal with when confronting demons and supernatural entities. That is a thing for everyday life and every interaction that they have. And the amount of things that keeping in mind what we had in our last talk back about how things are just shut down reactions, the amount of things that I just like processed today in a completely different way of all of it being like, so many of these things, the things that Romero looks like they're the most active in doing are all things that he does when he is simply not present in the moment whatsoever. He's not there. And in the not there state, in the background autopilot, he's like fighting people and escaping handcuffs and stepping out of dimensions and handing people a bottle of water just because they look shaken and being like, hey, are you good? Okay, cool. If you're good, I'm going to go ahead and go home. All of that happened in the middle of shutdown. And I think there's something to be said about where people are just like, this person is surprisingly capable even when they're in high stress situations. And it's kind of like, that person's not there. There's a BRB sign here.
Can we talk about the difference between the shutdown of Black folks and the shutdown of white folks? Because this is something that I run into so much for myself, for clients, where it's like our shutdown is another person's good day. And it is so hard to get people to take shit seriously when overwork and achievement are your trauma strategies.
Right.
Let's go ahead and talk about it. If we, depending on how honest we want to be, which I'm assuming here is 100% honesty, because that's what y'all have gotten out of every kickback so far, is like, y'all, like, we can't, there are people when they shut down, they like really are just like, they're not moving, they're not talking to people, they've gone home, they've gone offline, they've hung up the phone, whatever else. and things like that. But that's because there are people around them who are willing to give them the benefit of the doubt or grace in those situations, right?
Yeah.
And that includes everything down to fictional characters in animated film. You know what I mean? And you're just like, I don't like this person. And someone's just like, but wait, if you were in this situation, I feel like, you know, like all of that, right? I did have that conversation yesterday. No, I did not. However, right? For people who already live in a society where you know that no grace is given for you having like bad physical days, bad mental health days, or whatever else, when you know that that's something that you don't have, or that you can't have, or that you don't have access to, there's like a whole bunch of things that you learn to do on autopilot. It also doesn't help that, you know, as Black people, you have that conversation at a really early age of being like, you can't afford that. Like, whatever this is that you have going on here, like, you can't afford that. You have to fix it. Like, you have to get that together or whatever. Like, if you're going to go and if you have to shed tears about it, go shed tears about it when you get home.
Yep. Because you can't afford to right now.
And this isn't to say that Black folks don't shut down, right? Like, we're not trying to go from one extreme to another, but what it is that there is a level of luxury to shutting down. And so so often for us, it's like, it's either got to be absolutely catastrophic, damn near world ending, or we're in a place of comfort or support in order to be able to take that time to like reboot. Otherwise, it's like, nah, we got to keep it pushing. And so even like through the exhaustion, through trauma, through all of these things, we're still quote unquote functioning capitalistically, which I think goes like, it also goes into the like ways in which weathering and like rage that is withheld harms us and increases things like strokes and heart attacks and diabetes because of the cortisol and all that kind of things. And just the ways that being pushed into silence, overwork, and compliance kill us slowly and silently as Black folks.
I mean, we literally saw Alexis do that. Alexis was like, we kind of need to decompress from whatever the hell that was, and then went, oh wait, bills.
Yep.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know, it's just like, I have to take care of bills. I have to take care of my family. I have to take care of my grandmother or my kids or my mom or whatever else. Like, I don't get to do that because no one's going to catch me if I do it.
Yeah.
And having a community where like, even if people want to catch you, the resources aren't there to catch you in the way you need to be caught all the time, right? And I think that piece is really important because it's such a huge difference that I see between me and a lot of my white friends and colleagues, where it's like, you know, if they need a day, they have a spouse or a family member or somebody who has money.
Exactly. Who they can just hire a sitter or hire a cleaner or whatever it is they may need in that moment.
Or toss them $500 to compensate for taking a day or what have you. And myself and so many of the Black folks I know either don't have anybody no more because of lots of reasons, and or none of us got it like that. And so it's like, you can come over and stay here for a night if you need space, but I don't have money to offset a day off.
And that's something I have to think about a lot for like normal reasons, as like recently as like what, Thursday of this week, you know? Or just simple small things where someone was just like, I can see that you need help. Let me see what I can do. And I wish I had enough to do more, but I don't. So we're here.
Yeah.
Emrys, were you trying to say something?
No, I'm just taking it in, processing, everything, because I think, it's so real. This idea that shutting down doesn't mean stopping, right? It just means going on autopilot, because there's no such thing as safety, right? Like, you can't shut down in the sense of just stopping everything if you're still in danger. Your nervous system is not going to allow you to do that if it's aware that you still have to be responding to threats. So you just dissociate instead. And realizing that a lot of people, especially Black folks, who seem to handle stress so well, right? It's because they're not there, right? Like, Sin was saying, there's a BRB sign there, right? The lights are on, but no one is home because that person has disengaged emotionally, right? Cognitively, and possibly even physically to survive that situation. So they look like they're getting up every day, they're going to work, they're taking care of the kids, they're doing their job at work, but they're not there, right? They're not present. They have dissociated fully because they cannot, because they can't stop. So they're like, if I still have to do this, then I'm just not going to be here while it's happening.
Right.
I remember seeing an internet thing, like a meme, where someone was kind of like, I think sometimes people think about shutdown and people being like sad and sitting in like the tub in the shower for like days at a time. And no one considers how often shutdown can look like. You get up, you go to work every day, you do all the functional thing, you go home and you just stare at the wall in silence for hours until you finally fall asleep.
Yeah. I remember working in community mental health, and I would come home and I'd sit in my car for a while, sometimes
sitting
for
in the car
hours.
Is the MVP.
And and because I had to have a car for the job, and so I was already in my car, so I'd get home and I would be so shut down and so just like out of it. I would just be sitting in my car, just not even able to drag myself into my apartment building.
And I think there's this idea, and I was just talking about this at work the other day, right? Is when I'm teaching people how to recognize their trauma and the way that it's manifesting. There's this idea that dissociating means that someone is like zoned out, or they're, catatonic, or they're, just frozen in one spot. People don't realize all the ways that dissociation can actually manifest, right? When you're in having a conversation with someone and then you realize that you didn't hear any of what they just said, right?
Yeah.
When you're driving or you're riding the subway or the bus and you're suddenly realizing that you don't remember how you got to where you are, or how you made it to your destination. You don't remember anything that happened in that span of time, right?
Yep.
When you're finding things in your house and you're like, when did I buy this? Right? Yeah. When you've got, the packages from, Amazon and all the different stores are showing up and you're like, you don't even remember buying that thing, right? Yeah. You're shopping, right, to soothe yourself, but then you completely forget what it is you bought, and then the packages start arriving. You have no idea or no recollection of when you purchased that thing, right? Yeah. Or people are coming up to you and they're like, hey, so-and-so, they met you at X, Y, and Z spot, and you don't remember this person from Adam Gumtree. And you're the only one who seems to not realize that you've met them before.
Yeah.
Right?
Absolutely.
Like, these are all experience. And I'm sure there's someone listening to this who's like, oh my God, that happens to me all the time. And it's like, yeah, these are common experiences of the ways that dissociation can manifest in someone's life. Right? Dissociation is about being detached from your emotions, from your physical experience, or from your cognitive reality, right? It's not just the way that it looks in movies. And I think living under a system like capitalism, it is a highly valued survival trait to be able to dissociate effectively, because that's the only way you can survive and constant threat.
Can we talk about that for a second? Because I would like to actually talk about that as a concept, which is what shutdown looks like and the ways that we use it to survive in a society that says that like, for all of the things that it causes, up to and including things like health-related issues and literal death, right? How it is seen as like a valuable trait to be able to just ignore things going on internally that have like all of your nerves on fire. And they're just like, because, you know, oh, well, I mean, that's what you, like, if that's what you have to do to get through this world, then it is a powerful thing to be able to just be like, I know what I have to do, and the emotions be damned. And I'm just like, what part of you thinks it is okay to try to navigate this whole world as if you don't have feelings or if you don't experience things? Who told you that? Like, that is like, are you sure about that? Because some of y'all like are just like, I'm fine, you know, in my stoic philosopher era, and like don't say anything or whatever, and you're just like, we're just getting through it, it's fine, it's whatever. And then like we turn on the news one day and it's like there's a rash of murders, you know, because y'all just didn't want to tell somebody, hey, when you said whatever you said to me the other day, I felt a way about it, and I would appreciate it if you didn't do that in the future.
Yeah. Well, and this goes, this goes to the white supremacy culture and the fetishization of objectivity, or the like overvaluing of quote unquote objectivity, and this idea that if you have emotions at all, or you think about things or are close to things, then that makes your opinion or handling of things like less reliable and less valuable versus, you know, somebody who understands them deeply and feels things for people and other forms of life. Like, that's how we get this, from patriarchy telling men that they can't feel anything but rage, to all of society devaluing anyone who has an emotion, no matter what the stimuli are. And so that thing that people do where it's like, well, you're clearly like like you're clearly too close to it, so we need to remove you. And it's like, maybe you're too far away to see it. But we never talk about that. We never talk about that. We very seldom talk about the value of subjectivity, the value of being able to be near something and still see it. And missing those things really is destructive to all of us as a society, because what it is a removal of our humanity.
Especially when, for a lot of the stuff that you were just talking about too, you have the categories of, these are the approved ones to have, and we're willing to let you have your humanity while having these emotions, but you can't have your humanity while having these other ones.
Yep. And what is and isn't approved absolutely depends on your race and gender and things as well. I had a whole ass meeting where, you know, a fellow clinician asked a question about like why folks weren't interacting with them or answering them, but were dropping off this project. And so I tried to compassionately and calmly answer the question, and they immediately jumped to calling me aggressive and saying I was attacking them.
Like, really? Be fucking for real.
And it's that same embodiment of white supremacy culture that says, you know, anything that is conflict at all is bad and keeps us away from being in community or solving anything, right?
It does, yeah. If we can't properly have conflict and like navigate these things, we'll never get anything done. We won't ever move forward with, the things that we're trying to do. I think a lot of people are afraid of conflict because I think people immediately think like it could turn volatile, but it doesn't have to be that way.
One of those things, and I think there's probably some more to flesh out here about why I feel that way, but there's something to be said about the ways that I feel that sometimes it's not even like sometimes it's the fact that people are bad at conflict, but then being like, y'all sure don't have a problem with conflict when you think you're right. Y'all are pretty good at conflict then, but the moment that you're just like, this person might be wrong, and if like this person might be right, and if they are, I might have to change the way that I think about something, or I might have to end up altering my own personal opinion about whether or not I'm a good person. You know what I mean?
Yep. Yeah.
And the way that immediately breaks down the whole conversation, and it's just stuff like, wow, all right, we're here then, I guess.
And in that way, I would say, no, they're not good at conflict when they think they're right, because they're still not listening. They're still not listening to the other person. And whether you think you're right or you think you might be wrong, like again, right or wrong, that binary, already a red flag in many, many, many situations if we're talking about conflict. And then we're talking about you may be good at lecturing someone, but that doesn't make you good at conflict, right? Generative conflict requires listening. It requires compassion. It requires self-knowledge. And if as soon as you are confronted with the fact that maybe you did or are doing harm, or the fact that maybe you didn't quite understand this, or you didn't quite get this correct in the way that you thought, if you start melting down, then no, you do not have the level of skill at this piece of community that you thought you did, whether that is conflict, whether that is leadership, whether that is active listening or public speaking or any other skill. And so I would push back a little bit, Sin, and I would say, nah, they're not good. They're still not good at conflict, because what they're good at is lecturing. Maybe. And maybe not even that. So speaking of lecturing, though, there's a thing I want to make sure we get to, because it had the backstage chat erupting, and that's the scene with Janessa and Ola.
I'm thinking about poor baby Nico. Okay, justice for Nico.
Nico truly minding his business. He's like, I'm just here to work. I don't know nothing about nothing.
I feel like there's definitely something to be said here about a few things, but Nico just comes across to me so far, as a person who's just kind of like, listen, I'm like out here, right, where I'm not in the story, kind of like, I just got co-opted into this. I really just want to I just need to pay my bills, and I kind of want to do right by these kids. So
I do want to hear Imris, because this was your scene.
I said it in the chat on the side. I was like, he's so lucky that I have a malice die to physical tests, because I might have stole off on him. Because how dare you? Like, how dare you?
Oh my goodness.
And like this whole thing where he acts like we're cool. And I think even in the moment, like as a player in the moment, being like, okay, having to make a decision about how Janessa would handle this situation, right? How would Janessa handle this situation? Is she gonna just be like, oh, it's for the kids, and just be cool and just pretend that it's okay and swallow it again, right? Or is she going to be honest, right? Is she going to be honest, and is she going to say what needs to be said? And I think that even the fact that for me as a player, having to like feeling that anxiety, like, oh, there's someone else in the room, right? Nico is there, was very much a like, and it's like, no, like one, we're not cool. So stop talking to me and about me to other people as though me and you are cool, because we're not, right? So that's the first thing.
Right.
And it's so interesting that, you know, this comes up in this session because like literally earlier today, I'm dealing with some stuff in the organizer world where people are talking about other organizers and basically trying to name drop them to like put themselves on, not realizing that like we're the type of people to pull receipts. Like, you're dropping this person's name to give yourself credibility. I'm just going to text that person and ask them like, hey, do you know so and so and so? Because they said such and such and such. And then dealing with the sudden backpedaling that happens when you realize that like the person you're trying to name drop, I know them, right? And they told me they don't know you.
It was like, I was at their house last night. They ain't mentioned
right? Or so being in this encounter where basically Ola's, because I'm like, why were you let into the building? Like, how did you even get in here? What have you told people here that would let them trust you enough to let you in this building, right? Oh, you're telling them you're cool with me, right? And that's part of the reason. That's the reason why I can't be cool with you right now. I need to let you have it because you're using my name to get in and around and get your grubby little paws on stuff. And I want to I want it to be known to everybody, even if it looks like I'm being too much, that I don't like you. I don't trust you. And I'm not a fan of anything that you have done, but it was done. Hey, it's done and it can't be undone at this point. So I just say what I need to say. And I'm like, listen, Nico, I don't want you to think I don't like you because I don't even know you. All right. But whether or not you keep I just want it to be known that whether or not you keep a job has nothing to do with me and everything to do with whether or not your boss is actually being a decent person for once in the time that I've known him.
Yeah, I think the thing with Ola and based on what you gave me to work with, the way that this NPC has evolved is this is the kind of this kind of person who is good at making things happen, but actually is really bad at the people part, but thinks they're good at the people part because they make things happen. And as we've been exploring Janissa, I feel like I've understood more of like, okay, why would they have fallen out, right? Like what would have, besides just the like ideology, right? Like what about this person, how would we have gotten to this level of vitriol? And as we've been playing, I figured out, oh, this is that guy who like, when you need something, he pops up, but he's a terrible people person. And will just leave a thread of bodies and be like, but what you mad about? I got it done though. And I definitely think as we've been playing, I'm like, oh yeah, no, that's the kind of person Janissa would absolutely not abide.
And I think there's this thing, right? And you encounter it, especially when you're doing any kind of like community-based work where people think that the ends justify the means, that if it looks like on the surface that it's in service of whatever the mission is, that like the stuff behind the scenes is less important. Like, oh, you know, we're getting the kids what they need, or, you know, we're making sure that they're getting supplies. And it's like, yes, but you bought them from the devil. Like you literally, you just made a deal with Satan to get those things. So like, yes, and also hard no. Right. And I think that dynamic was really, I think, important to see play out, where it's like you're made to think you're treated right and called ungrateful because you don't want dirty dealings. Right. You're not interested in shady partnerships. You understand that all money is not good money. Right. And that sometimes going without is better than having something that you've now sold your soul to some corporation, some entity that now feels like they own you and is going to come back later demanding things of you because X, Y, and Z, right? And so sometimes it's better to say like, no, we don't want that. We'll make do with what we have because we don't trust that you're not going to use this as a way to start orchestrating, right? And I think within this greater context of like the theme of gentrification in this campaign, that's a lot of the way that gentrification happens, that these private investors and these corporations convince the community that X, Y, and Z is going to be better, or they give them this and this and that, just to turn around a couple years down the line and be like, well, actually, we want this, this, and this now because we did X, Y, and Z for you.
Yeah.
Right. And you find out later all the strings that were attached to this thing that seemed like it was being done out of, you know, hair
Good faith.
or kindness. Right.
Yeah.
And so dealing with people who have no qualms about, quote unquote, getting things done. They only care about the results. They don't care about what they have to go through and who they have to walk over to do that. It becomes this very frustrating situation where you can kind of feel like you're the problem if you're not really secure in kind of like where you're located at. And I think for Janessa at this point, again, there's a reason that she cut ties with Ola. Right? There's a reason why they're not cool, because she realized the kind of person that he is that kind of person. He's very much a ends justify the means kind of person, and will literally partner with the devil if it makes whatever he's trying to do. He can just say that he's the doer, right? That he's the get stuff done guy. And he doesn't care about the implications long term of the choices that he makes.
Yeah, it was definitely, I won't lie, I knew that would press Janessa's buttons, and especially because I know the fellow players here also popped off with the Queen of the Ungrateful comment. And it's
because let me tell you, I've encountered that one in nonprofit before.
But and that's the thing, that it'll be interesting to continue to explore, because we started, you know, we got to like the second time clip of this day, and full transparency, I forgot to check which day we're on because our recording schedule's been so spaced out, but I think we're on day like 3 or 4 now.
Oh yeah, I think you said we're on day 4 when I woke up from my nightmare. Or at least that's what the clock was. You said the clock has moved ahead by a day.
Yes, so it was on 3 before.
Let me see, where were we? We're on day 1, 2. It should be on either 3 or 4.
Yeah, I know it should be on 3 or 4. We'll figure it out. I described the day, so far, I've described the day where it could be either 3 or 4 till I figure out which day we're on. But I realized in all the notes I kept, I didn't write down what day we're on, because the last couple of recordings were the seal, the battle for the seal, and so threw me off. I think we're on 3 or 4. Well, I know we're on 3 or 4. I got to figure out whether it's 3 or 4, but we'll figure it out. But anyway, yeah, no, I think the not all money is good money is finally something that we're reckoning with now as a society, as all these government grants get yanked and all these companies renege on all these things. And it's like, okay, now we have to be really choosy of where money comes from, because like all these fickle friends are disappearing.
Yep.
It's having to be like, these people never liked you. Let's talk about that. Y'all thought these people were friends. They did not. They are not your friends. We weren't joking when we said corporations are not your friends.
Yeah. Yeah.
And this idea that just because they're showing up means that you have to welcome them with open arms, especially when you've been there, like Janessa, is saying, right? This program is not new. We've been here struggling for years. And all of a sudden, out of the goodness of your heart, apparently, you decide that now is the time that you want to help, right? And excuse me for not trusting the timing on this, because we've been here, and all the programs that you're so-called talking about, oh, how you have to preserve this one because the rest of them are gone. where were you when they were closing?
Right.
Where was your support when they were struggling to be maintained? There was no benefit in supporting them. But now you suddenly have support and can deliver in less than 24 hours notice, and you want me to believe that there's not some fine print or something on the back end that you're going to try to pull out later on and use for clout. And it happens all the time.
It does. So before we end, do we want to take bets on what folks think Ola's angle is? Do we think that he's being legit? Do we think that it is a clout angle? Do we think it's a business angle? Or do we think it's a personal angle?
Part of me think it's we really want to help, but my results, what I was doing before wasn't getting results, but now tap dancing is type shit. It's kind of giving that to me. So I'm wondering if that's the case. But I also, like me, Blue, it's kind of like digging it being personal because I live for drama. So
what I'm waiting for is the people who have been co-opted to infiltrate a community in the moment that these people get their hooks in the way they want to go. Well, that was cute, Ola. Wonderful. Thank you for your service. And then just drop him off the end of a cliff.
Oh. Mm-hmm. So you think he's getting played too?
That's usually how it works. The players never know until it finally happens.
Okay.
Yeah. And I said for the sake of his bodily integrity, he better hope that it's not a personal thing.
For the sake of his bodily integrity is wild.
Yeah. That man do not want to fuck around and find out. That's all we know.
But like, I really and truly, I think, honestly, I think it's both. I think he's trying to play and not realizing he's getting played, because I think that happens all the time, right? That there's someone, is levels to this kind of like violence, right? There's like the bit players who are powerful people in the community. They might sit on these boards or be presidents of these organizations, but then there are these much larger multinational, right, structures that are orchestrating, that use those bit players who are just trying to get on, right, to make a name for themselves or secure a paycheck for themselves. They use them for these larger goals. And the people in the middle, one, they either don't realize that they're being used, or they don't care because they get what they want out of it at the end of the day. And then they retire or they resign or they move on to whatever thing.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it could be both of those.
Okay. All right, y'all. Well, we are running up against time here. So any last minute things you want to say before we end, and then we'll do outros?
Hold each other close and hold yourselves close. It's okay to talk to others. It's okay to confide in others. That is what you are supposed to do. We are not meant to weather this shit alone.
Ruth.
Agreed. All money is not good money. Remember that. Because it's gonna be times in the very near future. It might even be happening right now, but you feel very desperate, right? And there's not a lot of support coming, and someone seems to appear out of the mist with the answer to all your problems. Make sure that you are not selling your future away for what looks like safety now, right? All money, not good money.
Mm-hmm.
I think my takeaway for this is, yes, you can just function through all the things and keep right on pushing and doing whatever needs to be done. But that does not mean that you should, or that is a normal way to be. Your fight or flight is not how is not a baseline function.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yep. And I think my last blurb before we do outros is you can't have community without conflict. And conflict does not have to mean knock down, drag out fights and that level of volatility. But you do need generative conflict in order to have a strong and thriving community. And the more we deny that and the more we engage in conflict avoidance, both internally and externally, the longer we're going to be stuck in these places where you're just, treating people as disposable, not having accountability, and feeling alone. And so if we want to be together, resist together, get through this shit, we gotta learn how to do conflict with love and compassion and accountability. So let's go ahead and go around who you are, where people can find you if you want to be found. If you don't want to be found, totally chill. Let's go ahead and go reverse. So Imris.
Hey y'all, Emrys, they, them. You can find me on Blue Sky now. I'm on Blue Sky.
We did it.
Air horn. I'm at the Dragon Emrys on Blue Sky, so you can find me on there. I don't know what I'm gonna post, but maybe I'll post something eventually.
Sin.
Hi, I'm Sin of the he, they pronoun. You can find me in most places as Sinziak. That is it's a very unique name, which means I'm very easy to find in places like Blue Sky and Twitch and other social media platforms if you're looking for me in those places.
Fabulous. Blue?
Hi y'all, it's been real. I'm Blue, pronouns they, them, and you can find me online as King V_, and that's King with the Y, and anywhere Baddie Bards is.
And I am Cassie, also known as Lamia. I am your host of Woke Mental Wellness, and my socials are all over the place. You can find me at Woke Mental Wellness for the podcast, obviously, and then for Blue Sky, you can find me at Intersections CCH, Instagram, Intersections LLC, and honestly, right now, that's kind of it. You can also find my email and stuff, but thank y'all for listening and being with us and supporting us. Please don't forget the Ko-Fi is also at Woke Mental Wellness and helps us to continue producing these things, because editing I can't do alone and someone needs to get paid. So thank y'all. Please remember to be kind to yourself, do those pieces of self-knowledge, get to know yourself, be able to be alone in quiet with yourself. That is also part of community. So be kind to yourself, kind to others, and don't forget, it's together or it's nothing. And you don't have to like everybody who's fighting the good fight. So take care. Thank y'all. Till next time. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to Woke Mental Wellness presents Windy City Nihilism, a 12 Inner Demons homebrew podcast. This podcast has been made possible in part thanks to a grant from Diversity Saves. Episodes are edited by Marissa Ewing of Hemlock Creek Productions. If you enjoyed this podcast, please leave a review and tell your friends. If you want to help financially, you can visit the Woke Mental Wellness Ko-Fi listed in the show notes. Take care, and remember, hope and resistance do best in community.